What's going on, gamers? So I got caught up on this news right here recently, day one. I'm like, what the hell's day one? Then I noticed this was a logo of Xbox Era. I'm like, oh, hold up. Um, you know what? This actually makes sense when you think about the direction that Microsoft is going. It says Xbox Era announces rebrand to day one. Site is no longer Xbox centric. Remember last year I was doing a video, Phil Spencer got interviewed on there. Seems like that was going to be an Xbox thing, and they were pushing that for the longest. It's been going on, and now they're pretty much shut down. You saw the stuff that was shut down over at Windows Central with Jazz as well too. He was one of the only guys that were left that didn't get fired, and it makes you think like, oh, this gives you the idea that Microsoft is done focusing on Xbox as an exclusive brand. They've pretty much moved on from it, and it's now just going to be everywhere. It's now called Day One, and this site is going to be covering all gaming. They realized they can't do Xbox anymore. Remember when Digital Foundry was saying, well, even when they try to do it, they feel like their metrics were tanking. It says PlayStation, PC, Nintendo, Xbox, and VR. So this site is going to be covering all video game topics. We're going to get to the site in a second and read what they have to say. This is interesting. It kind of gives you the idea of the branching out massive third party agenda that you see the Microsoft Corporation kind of focusing on. It was like I was saying, even in my last video, like they're not competing with PlayStation anymore. It's no longer Xbox versus PlayStation in a sense to where it's like you have an Xbox centric focus. That's gone now. They're going to PC, which is pretty much open platform for everything, and they're trying to go the Steam route, which they'll get a somewhat okay on that, but not much. It's you're just gonna have to focus on being a publisher. So I mean, guys, we got Xbox Era is dead. Now that's a motto, I guess. And they're now day one with these colors. I mean, you can say PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, maybe PC, I guess, or VR or whatever. But these are these certain colors that certain ones use. The Nintendo uses like both, but I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm trying something here. But yeah, I mean, damn, man. I know there's a lot of people like, whoa, what's going on here? Uh, Mimtic Hazard says, it's sad to see Xbox dying. Yeah, I mean, when you think about certain categories like hardware and all that, yeah. Without Xbox, we will have less competition and Sony will screw customers even more. Actually, the funny thing is, Sony has gotten better since that's happened because they were actually doing something that was not good, beating them. And now, since Nintendo came on the scene, which gives them competition, they dropped the price by $200 in Japan. They did $650 for Pro, $399 for PlayStation in the holidays. They're turning things around big time. They put Helldivers on Xbox. I don't know about that, bro. I mean, I get what you're trying to say if that would have been something to see, but that's not what's happening at the moment, and we got to go with what we're seeing. So with Nintendo being highly competitive now and getting a slice of their third party pie and being able to take it on the go and having huge Japan domination, I don't know about that. This competition is there, and the console industry is healthy. It's just Xbox is not as a hardware, and when it comes to having a base that can make profit and help push the industry in that sort of sense, they have to do that on multiple platforms. This guy says, but as for Xbox fanboys, good riddance. They deserve all of this and more. A bunch of sugarcoaters. Some of them are fake for sure. No doubt about that. He said, PS5 Bro, is there no one else? Well, dude, you got to beat Nintendo. Though that's not going to happen. And honestly, I mean, they kind of benefit each other in a certain way. They both won in their own way. Though Nintendo won the whole thing because they didn't put their games nowhere. And they're getting Xbox games. They get some PlayStation games. And they're getting the third-party support. And as more hardware comes out in the future, and the diminishing returns reach higher, they still have all their exclusives and they're going to be getting all third party. So I don't know about that. Xbox Era went third party. That's what I'm saying. Like that pretty much happened. We can pretty much confirm that here. This guy says, nice. No more 90 plus 100 score boost to games that aren't that high quality. Ironic name, LOL. If they bought games day one, Xbox wouldn't be dead now. That's funny. And this guy's like, what? LMAO, they knew Gravebox was dead, so they abandoned that ghost town. You can see the difference, Xbox channel versus PlayStation channel. I mean, I get what he's trying to say, but that's what I mean. This guy says, he's telling Phil Spencer, look what you did, bro, crushed their spirit and killed their hopes and dreams. I don't know. Damn, see, there's a lot of people that want to blame Phil Spencer for this. That's pretty funny. I mean, it's always funny seeing that where it's like, oh, there's a lot more to it than that. So going to their website over here on Xbox Day 1, we're like, hold up here. let me do this real quick, Chris, so I can zoom in. Going down here, it says, "Welcome to day one. Announced as part of the 300 podcast episode, Xbox era is about to change. Here are all the details." Announced as part of our 300 podcast episode, after nearly 7 years, Xbox era is about to change. It's a big change, and there's a lot to cover here. But let's get the larger part out of the way. Yes, we're rebranding, and that rebrand is going to see a big update to come to our little corner of the internet, including a brand new and very shiny website. While I acknowledge that change isn't easy, especially when it involves something that people care deeply about, I'm pretty sure this isn't a big surprise, particularly to the fantastic folks that have supported our team since the very early days. Xbox Era, which we started as a small podcast back in 2019, has grown far beyond what we had originally planned. It's become more than a vehicle for what was then a small podcast that went out every fortnight on even a website about Xbox consoles and Xbox games. In 2025, we celebrated our biggest year ever in terms of readership and overall growth and saw incredible milestones for the podcast. It says for us, however, it's always been about you, our community, to the people that have supported us year in, year out. We owe you. It's a community that's been built on passion. It's okay, you're pulling the halo. Fun and a shared love of just playing video games, with an aversion to clickbait and nonsense in an industry increasingly dominated by it. As we've scaled up, as our ambitions and readership have grown, we came to the inescapable conclusion that change is not only desirable, but necessary. Yeah, I mean, you can't stay covering like that. It's not working for you. It's not sustainable. I get it. We understand that rebranding away from Xbox era is probably going to be a big deal for some of you, so allow us to explain the why, what it means for our community going forth, and where we plan to go next. I mean, you're just going to do exactly what Microsoft is doing. You're going everywhere, and you have to cover everything else so that you can stay relevant. It's not that hard. When Xbox Era launched, the name made a lot of sense. We wanted to build a website focused on Xbox, built by people that actually played there. Well, Microsoft made sure that that's not happening, and it's just not there, dude. It's okay. It was just before the dawn of a new generation, and it's been a pretty crazy time. And it's fair to say a lot has changed. Ultimately, as time went on, we found ourselves covering and wanting to cover more than just Xbox. You see, a lot of people feel that way deep down inside. I'm pretty sure so does Jez. PC, VR, Nintendo, and PlayStation, who, by the way, blocked me, which is weird. And all of the industry turbulence, news, and culture that came with it. Beyond all of that, though, hopefully he gets better, day one refocuses us on what this is ultimately all about. Playing great video games and bringing you the best in news, reviews, and previews on day one. It's a name that we feel ultimately honors our roots and where we came from, but gives us complete freedom to make our corner of the internet even more awesome. Yeah, you want to branch out. You can't do it being Xbox only. It just doesn't have that spark anymore. Yeah, a lot of people don't like it, but that's how it is, man. We went through a lot of name ideas for the rebrand and even toyed around with the full URL, playday.one. Ultimately, we shortened it to just day one, and we hope you dig it. I really annoyed Pet Drag for weeks with tons of different branding ideas. What does it mean for the Xbox Era podcast? It's a good question. The Xbox Era podcast, and of course, of 300 episodes, has earned, according to our community, an iconic place in their hearts and minds. We're not sure about that, but we do appreciate the compliment. We discussed internally that the rebrand would allow us to do multiple shows and perhaps new shows like a PlayStation-focused podcast, a Nintendo one, and so on. Nothing wrong with that, dude. You're still focusing on gaming. There's nothing wrong with talking about different gaming aspects. You don't have to be a prisoner to a brand that Microsoft has killed. But really, outside of time and consistency being a primary concern, we already talk about all the platforms on the current podcast by default. So as painful as it might initially feel, episode 300 of the new Xbox Era podcast will see it transform into day one podcast along the new general branding update. So guys, I mean, we kind of get the idea here. They want to branch away from that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. You got to grow. You know, that's how it is. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this. We see this a lot in the Xbox world where things that used to be are no longer exclusive. That's just the way that it works. And you have to adapt when things die off. That's right. Over the course of the next month or so, thanks to Microsoft, right, our website will begin to transform. Full disclosure, we did have plans to update and make all of this happen during the actual episode. But ultimately, as cool as that would have been, websites are complicated behemoths. And we've got 8,000 plus pieces of content and history to consider and protect. So instead, a more considered approach was called for. But we wanted to at least show you what we have planned. And additionally, use the time over the next month to gather feedback for the people that matter the most, you. So we get the idea here, guys. There's a lot of emotional stuff, obviously, down here. I think that's what they're kind of doing. Goodbye, Patron. Hello, memberships. They're doing that type of stuff. And basically down here, I guess if we read, it says they started back in 2020. And like many sites that are independently owned, we relied on our readers to keep us ticking over. And if you're trying to cover Xbox only, that's just not going to be plausible. You need to cover PlayStation way bigger. You need to cover Nintendo way bigger. You need to cover Steam and all that. And then you can keep Xbox bundled with that in the conversation. Then you're talking about all of gaming and you feel like you have more freedom, intellectual freedom. You don't have the pressure on you. It feels like you're just not getting much, but you're putting so much into it. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, dude. That's fine. I think anybody and most people will feel the same way. You don't have to feel trapped. Branch out. You did the right thing. Nobody's going to get mad at you unless they're just being a fanboy. It's like that type of stuff just cannot work, man. It doesn't. So, I understand where you guys are going. So let me know what you guys think about this. Once again, this is just the state of the Xbox brand now. You have to be expansive and go into the PlayStation. You need PlayStation. You need Nintendo. And you need Steam. And you need all that stuff to stay relevant, and that's okay. You got to do what you got to do to survive. You were in war, you got to do what you got to do to survive, right? You lost a war, what are you going to do next? That's kind of what happens when you're kind of like in that type of bracket. We just want to see the brand do well now as publishing because that's the thing that's left. Peace out, y'all. Keep gaming no matter what platform you're on.